Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel, and welcome back to a series that got disregarded for a little bit there. Welcome back to the Champions League predictions. Very excited for this one. We're in the round of 16, less teams, more games to go in depth on and focus on, and some better contests as well. Really excited the Champions League is finally back. I've missed it. It's been a while. A lot of cup and league football, but we're finally back to the good stuff. And there's some absolutely massive clashes in here. A few underdogs also going to some of the big boys, but in the Champions League, you can never quite know what's going to happen next. So a lot of exciting affairs to preview in this video. I'll be doing the first leg scores here in this video, and then obviously in a few weeks' time, I'll go and predict the second legs of all these round 16 tie affairs. But very, very exciting. Let's get straight into the video. All right, our first game takes us to Copenhagen. It's Copenhagen hosting Manchester City. A bit of an underdog this one here, Copenhagen. Man City obviously previous champions in their best form, and as I like to say it is Man City towards the back end of the season coming home, and they come home very strong to end each season off. So they're going to be a very hard beat for Copenhagen, but we've seen them beat Manchester United 4-3 at home. We've seen them get a result at Bayern, so they've gotten some big results so far this season. Qualified second in a very tough group as well. So fair play to this side. They can do so. They can take it to this Manchester City side, especially at home. Get the home ground advantage here. Make sure you get in there early and just be compact. Don't allow anything easy to happen, and don't allow City an early goal. It's going to be hard to stop Haaland and De Bruyne. These guys being back is going to be very important for City. Those will be the two players. If you're Copenhagen, want to shut down, try and avoid their impact in the game. Limit Haaland's touches. Make sure De Bruyne is going away from goal rather than having time to look up and find the pass towards goal. These small sort of things. And what they've done well is counter-attacked very well and absorbed pressure at times, but then sprung moments where they have momentum and possession in their own areas. So in this game here, City can have a lot of the ball. That's when Copenhagen have it. Make sure you make it count. Don't give away possession sloppily. Keep the ball at your feet. Create some nice chances. Elyounoussi probably is the number one target for them going forward. He's probably the goal scorer for me that's going to make the difference in this game. They're going to have to be clinical though. They're not going to get many chances or much possession. When you get that opportunity, the half chance, even the quarter chance, or the opportunity you have a shot at goal, try and make the most of it. Test Ederson, test his Man City backline. And like I say, a lot of the Premier League predictions, respect Man City, fair play, they're a really good side, but don't over-respect them. Don't allow them to have all the possession and just cruise and play the ball at the back casually. Get up, spring the old counter press on them. Make sure that the defense is solid in possession, because sometimes they can be a bit lax. You can catch them off guard and get an early goal. I think the early goal in this game will be massive. If City get it early, you can almost write off this whole two-legged affair. But if Copenhagen get an early goal, if you hold this on at home, make it interesting, take it to the Etihad, and try and force an upset. I doubt it will happen though, because Man City, as I said, back end of the season, this is where they do their best work. Just after February, they kick into gear and they become a monster. And the fact that De Bruyne is back, Haaland's back now, you've got Bernardo Silva in some great form, Phil Foden playing some great football. The back line's starting to sort itself out. Ake and Gvardiol been very consistent as of recently. And you've got Ruben Diaz, you've got John Stones, you've got Rodri. All the names there say that should be quite an easy Man City win, and that's why I have backed in Man City in this game here. I think it'll be tough for them early on, but once one goes in, a few will go in. As such, I'm predicting a Manchester City 3-0 win over Copenhagen. Our next round of 16 matchup takes us to Germany. It's RB Leipzig hosting Real Madrid in what will be another very, very interesting game. Real Madrid, a lot of injury problems, which I'll touch on a little bit. But starting on with RB Leipzig, a very interesting side, a side that's very progressive on the front foot. And like a lot of German teams in the Bundesliga this season, are very open at the back at times. They do their best work in midfield and forward areas with the likes in this team of Xavi Simons, as well as Luis Openda, who's been in great form as well. These are the guys, and Sesko up top are the guys you want to be targeting if you're RB Leipzig. Will they play this 4-2-2 sort of formation they've been playing? Maybe not. They might revert to add another midfielder in, then solid up that midfield and just play the one forward. But if Sesko and Openda play, we know these guys have pace to burn, to get in behind, to test the Real Madrid back line, which is going to be very, very undermanned. If I'm RB Leipzig, it's going to have to be there. Even though you're at home, absorb as much pressure as possible and try and hit Real Madrid on the counter-attack, in transition. Use these young players with pace. Use Xavi Simons pushing in for midfield, trying to have a few shots at goal, and test Lunin, the keeper, because I think that's where they can make a fist of this game here. Allow Real Madrid to have the possession, sit in deep, don't allow Vinicius and Rodrigo space in behind, make them create some magic from outside the box, frustrate Real Madrid, and then you can try and spring the counter-attack and score that way. Real Madrid, though, they're not the formidable team which they normally would be. I think they're probably the best team in world football when all fit, but they're missing Jude Bellingham in this tie, out for 2 to 3 weeks with a high ankle sprain. The back line consists of Carvajal, Lucas Vazquez, alongside Mendy there, and Tchouaméni, who played on the weekend. So I don't imagine anyone's going to come back for this game, so you're going to stuck with that really makeshift back line. Probably play Modric and Kroos in midfield there, alongside maybe a Fede Valverde in there for some more chance creation. That'll probably be a midfield 3, and then you're going to have Joselu up front alongside Vinicius and Rodrigo. So it's an undermanned makeshift sort of side, and it can definitely be got at if you're RB Leipzig, a younger side. You play a lot more pace and throw some numbers forward. So be compact without the ball, but when you go and attack, be the RB Leipzig we know and love. It's throw numbers forward, attack sort of thing. Because they've been very solid this season. They've stumbled a little bit as of recently, but they were tough losses like Leverkusen and Stuttgart in there as well, who are teams that are very clinical in front of goal. That's the key in this game. If you're going to be RB Leipzig, use your pace and use your youthfulness on the counter-attack. Be clinical in front of goal. Use Openda and Sesko's ability to score in those limited chances that we'll get. And then for Real Madrid, is get through this first leg. I think scraping through an ugly sort of Carlo Ancelotti vintage up result would be all they want. Without Jude, without your back line, and possibly an older aged midfield, that's probably the best way to go about it. It's going to be a tough one for them, an uphill battle, but I trust Real Madrid. I trust the legacy. I trust the experience they've got in that team, and I trust Carlo Ancelotti. I think RB Leipzig will score first, but Real Madrid will come back and get the win. I'm going Real Madrid to win this game at 2-1. Our next game takes us to France and the Parc des Princes, and it's PSG versus Real Sociedad. Another battle where you think it's going to be one-sided. I think out of all the games, this is probably the most one-sided affair we've got. PSG have been in great form, almost unbeatable. Outside of their draw to Brest, they basically haven't lost a game since December time. So 2 months, but they haven't really lost or drawn any games of football. They're super clinical at the moment. They can rotate players in and out in the league. And all their focus right now is going to be on the Champions League, a chance for them to make an impact. This new side, younger faces we might not know as much of, but are still very, very quality players. Zaire Emery's been a superstar for them this season. And then I touch on other names. Obviously, Mbappe, but Dembele and Barcola are 2 players from the flanks that have been consistent performers who've gotten assists and goals. So they're going to be threats for Real Sociedad to stop, because obviously all the attention will go to Kylian Mbappe. But it's the others that might make the difference in this game, whether it be Vitinha for midfield or if Marco Asensio gets a bit of time as well. He's been quite dangerous for PSG this season as well. So as much as Real Sociedad's job is to stop Mbappe, I expect others to get involved in this game and really put Real Sociedad to the sword. Sociedad, obviously, a team that's had a bit of a decent run in recent weeks. However, the form sort of came to a stop as they lost 1-0 to Osasuna on the weekend. They're a team that doesn't score many goals. They're a team that sort of grinds out the 1-0s, the 2-1 type results. And against PSG, they ain't going to work. This young side is, decent at the back. They have some great players in there. Look at Marquinhos, Ashraf Hakimi in there as well, Skriniar. But I think their best work's done in midfield and forward areas. The creativity, Gonzalo Ramos when he has the opportunity as well. These sort of players, they're just natural finishes in front of goal. Very quick, very pacey. And it's going to be a long day for Real Sociedad to stop this team. As such, at home as well, I back PSG in quite easily here. I'm giving them the 4-0 win. Next game is in Italy. It's Lazio hosting Bayern Munich. And again, another interesting sort of affair, because Lazio have not been in great form at all this season. But Bayern Munich have stumbled across the line recently. They've had a few tough games where they've just gotten results. They've obviously got battered by Leverkusen in the weekend in the Bundesliga. And they need a bounce-back game. And this could go one or two ways. If they don't start well, Lazio could find themselves in this tie and getting a result out of this first leg. But if Bayern come out fierce, menacing, and ready to fight for their manager, they might put 5 or 6 past Lazio here. So it's going to be a very interesting affair to see how the game starts. And it's all going to come down to who starts the better of the two sides. Lazio at home will have the home ground advantage. The fans will be behind them. And for them, it's really important. They get the big time players involved. Get Ciro Immobile some chances. Get Luis Alberto on the ball. He's a real creator for this side here and can create things for this team from the deep lying or sort of number 8 position in midfield. For Lazio, it's important they stay nice and compact at times, but don't allow these wing backs like Alphonso Davies, Mazzarri or Bowie to overlap and create from that fullback position, because these wing backs or fullbacks for Bayern Munich have been very important for their output and getting chance to Harry Kane and getting chances to like Musiala and Muller. It's the fullbacks for me, I think, are highlighted as probably one of the most important features of this Bayern Munich side at the moment. The midfield's been overrun, especially against Leverkusen, but the last few games haven't been at their best. I don't like Eric Dyer playing a centre-half. I don't like the 5-back or 3-back system they went with. I expect them to go back to a 4-back, and trust that system they've got there. Play De Ligt, play Kim Min-jae. Don't play Dyer and Upamecano. Play the solid, strong centre-backs that are in some decent form. And then Mazzarri at full-back alongside either Alphonso Davies or Bowie. That's where the goal is for Bayern Munich at the moment. I think Thomas Tuchel is fighting for his job. Nathan said it on the podcast episode we recorded today and will go out on Thursday, that if they don't win the Bundesliga or get to a Champions League final, it's sayonara for Thomas Tuchel. He has to win something this season or go deep in the Champions League, because at Bayern Munich you expect success, and in recent weeks the performances have not lived up to Bayern Munich standards. I expect Kimmich to go back in that midfield, join Musiala or Muller alongside Goretzka in that midfield there, and expect them to come out fierce and ready to go. I think you have to bounce back after a 3-0 defeat. Lazio might just be the most unfortunate side to come up against a Bayern side that need to bounce back. Lazio have not been very impressive this season, very inconsistent, and no real clear pattern to play at the moment. I feel like they're solid enough without the ball. They're not good enough when they have the ball at their feet. They're just a bit of a mediocre team at the moment. And as such, sitting in 8th in the Serie A, they just won't have enough for me. I think Bayern Munich, especially in this game, to bounce back, despite it being away from home, I think they get the 3-0 win in this one. Our next game takes us to next week. It's a separated game week here for the round of 16 games. So next week we have PSV hosting Borussia Dortmund in what will be a very open affair, I sort of believe here. PSV dominant in the Dutch league, in the Eredivisie, but we can all agree it's a one-team league at the moment. So it's not a real easy way to judge them off. I judge them off what they've done in the Champions League so far. Finishing second in their group, they had some good moments, had some very poor moments. They're a team that plays a lot on the front foot, very aggressive. We try and get that line onto the halfway line. That defensive line will be very high. They want to play a lot in possession, play through teams, playing those triangles and break teams down that way, and use some real clinical finishes in front of goal to get the better of sides. But we saw in the Champions League a few times, they got exposed being too high up the pitch or playing too aggressive, playing out from the back. And that's something Dortmund can try and highlight and pinpoint as some way to get at PSV. At home, though, I expect them to be up for this game. Either the crowd will be up for it. And I think it's an opportunity to really show that they're a team that's quite progressed and a team that can take it to a next round and maybe even make a miracle run to a semi-final. They've got that ability about them. They play some great football. And if things go their way, they can definitely make that happen. Dortmund are a team that's very gettable at the moment. I know they've been almost unbeatable in 2024, but a team prior to that, which is very inconsistent. And the problem for them prior to this racing good run is just keeping clean sheets and scoring goals. Recently, they have scored 2 or 3 goals in every single game. That's led to wins. But if you can shut down this Borussia Dortmund attack, avoid chances falling to Füllkrug, who's just a sniper in front of goal, just so clinical in front of goal, and limit the time that Sabitzer gets in the ball to play the pass. That's where you can try and break this Borussia Dortmund side down and limit their ability to be really progressive and get at this PSV side. I think both teams will struggle defensively to hold each other back. As such, I see some goals happening in the 2 legs of this tie. In the first leg, though, it's always a bit of a cagier affair to start off with. So I think PSV just get over the line. Whoever wins this tie will be the team that sort of has the better solidity at the back, the better team that can control the momentum and not allow a team to get on top of them and score 2 or 3 in a row. As such, I'm going for PSV to win this game 2-1. It's going to be a very interesting affair. Probably one of the best watches out of all the round of 16 affairs. And definitely something to keep an eye on. But yeah, as I said, PSV, I think, will win this one at home, 2-1. The next clash is probably my favourite from the round of 16. It's in Italy. It's Inter Milan hosting Atletico Madrid in what will be an absolutely titanic battle. I think right now Inter Milan are probably the third best team in the world at the moment, behind City and behind Real Madrid, but they're very close. They play some very great football, easy on the eye, and Inzaghi's got this team playing some superb football, playing through the lines, some great overlapping runs from the fullbacks, and he's created one of the most dynamic midfields in the world at the moment. When you've got Barella in there alongside Henrik Mkhitaryan, you've got a great balance in that midfield in terms of attack and defence. I think that's the key for them this game here. Whoever wins these midfield battles would likely win these games of football. I think the midfield is where the game can win or lost. Both sides have some great finishes. I think Inter probably have the better finishes, but Atletico are equally as good at the back as well. And Inter, we know how good the defenders are. Bastoni, Acerbi, and they play the three at the back where Pavard tucks in as a right centre half. There is just so much great talent on each side here. I think Inter, though, have too much quality talent. I think of Bastoni, who's probably in one of my maybe extended team of the seasons amongst all the top five leagues. I think Lautaro Martinez is in the form of his life, probably one of the most formed strikers in the world right now. I think of Thuram as well, who's been one of the better pickups so far this year. These guys have goals in them. They have defensive solidity in them. As I said, Jalen Oglu, Mkhitaryan, Barella in that midfield there. Creativity, defensive balance. It's got all of it, this Inter Milan side. And obviously Atletico have been in the past under Simeone all oriented around defence and, structure and solidity and making sure you make the right decision. As of recently, though, he's trying to change his mould. He's gone a bit more progressive and attacking. Look at like a Memphis Depay. Also, Antoine Griezmann is having another great season as well. You get more chance for these players here and they can score some more goals, and then you can put the pressure back on Inter Milan, because if Atletico just want to sit in and try to absorb pressure against the Inter Milan side, it'll be one-way traffic. Inter will eventually break them down and score the goals. They've got too much talent. So if I'm Atletico Madrid, take the game to Inter, put their defence under pressure, test them, see if they got enough to handle the likes of Morata, Griezmann, these sort of players. And you can see how the result made goal. You look at Saul in that midfield as well. He might be important if he's playing in there. Atletico have got so much talent, so much quality. They can definitely take it to Inter Milan, but I think Inter Milan will have too much. Inter Milan have been so consistent. One loss in the league all season. They won the Italian Super Cup. They're a team in great form at the moment. I think Atletico, obviously they slipped up with the one they lost to Sevilla recently. They might just not have the ability to take it to Inter Milan. If they do, though, it's going to be really interesting, going to be very exciting. Inter Milan, they're at home with the better quality talent, in the better form. I've got them winning this game 3-1. Our next game is in Portugal. It's Porto hosting Arsenal. Unfortunately, what will be probably a slam dunk in my eyes. Porto obviously a very great side. They've had two poor results, but recently with a draw and a loss, but that ends a run of 4 great consecutive wins. They're a team in solid form, but a team they come up against, Arsenal, are in better form and argue one of the most formed teams in the world at the moment. They just smashed West Ham for 6. They've got great quality, and the quality's come back to form. Saka, Ødegaard, Declan Rice. These guys are in the right form at the right point in the season. They're chasing a Premier League title. They definitely want to be involved in the Champions League as well. When I think of all the upside this Arsenal team has, it's just got too much quality and too much form at the moment and momentum for Porto to stop. If you're Porto, though, you've got to be trying targeting Galeno and Evangelisson on the counter-attack to try and be clinical and create and score some chances on the counter-attack. But outside of that, I think Arsenal just have too much, and I'll just overrun Porto. I know Porto are at home, but Arsenal's ability to play football, it travels, it's consistent, and now Mikel Arteta's got his unit. They hardly miss a beat. They've had a really rough patch, I guess, just through December. They've already gotten out of that, and they're playing some great football once again. If Porto want to get anything out of this game, as I said, got to be a snatch and grab. Galeno on the counter-attack, Evangelisson on the counter-attack, and being really compact. Sometimes Arsenal can be a little bit too slow in possession, and if you come nice and compact, sit in deep, you might be able to just absorb enough pressure from Arsenal and get them on a bad day where they're not at their attacking best. But with the likes of Ødegaard in the form he's in, Saka the form he's in, Martinelli seems to have turned a corner. You've got Declan Rice as well in there, Kai Havertz, the names just go on and on and on. I think it'll be too much for Porto to handle. So as such, I've got Arsenal winning this game 3-1 away from home. That now brings us to our final game of the round of 16s. It is Napoli hosting Barcelona. It's going to be an absolutely mammoth affair. Both teams very heavily underperforming at the moment. two teams that need to find some joy this season. It could be through the Champions League. Napoli obviously sort of languishing a bit away from the title race. They're amongst that battle for the top 4 rather than for the title. And with Barcelona 10 points off the top, 5 points off Girona in third place. They're a bit of no man's land at the moment and playing some very poor football. So both teams are looking to bounce back in different regards. Napoli seem to have be the most up and down side. They had a really good performance last time out versus AC Milan. Took it to them. Could have easily won that game. Could have easily got a point for that game, but ended up 1-0 losers in that game. But what I'm seeing there is more productivity, more positivity on the front foot, creating more chances, being more solid at the back. Obviously, the loss of Kim Min-jae was massive for the side. But they seem to find a little bit more continuity at the back, a little bit more solidity, and that's a big thing. Look at Barcelona as well, a team that, the big stars aren't performing. Lewandowski, De Jong, I look at the back, Araujo and Koundé have lacked in terms of performances, as well as Cancelo as well. There's a lot of underperformers in both sides, and both sides' weaknesses this season feel like they've been at the back. Barcelona especially, a team that was so great at the back last season. That's the reason they won La Liga. That's the reason they did the Spanish double last year. And the reason why Napoli went on and won the Scudetto was because they had some great defenders like Kim Min-jae that are not only ball-playing defenders, but also were quick and were able to defend really well. Both teams are missing that identity, and Napoli also missing the goals they had from Kvaratskhelia and also Victor Osimhen. But those who seem to be in better form, Osimhen will come back now from the African Cup of Nations. He'll be a big target for Napoli. It's going to be a back and forth sort of affair. I think whoever wins this first game will be the team that defends better, because both teams right now are lacking in defence. I think the midfield battle is going to be very tight and very nitty-gritty, not much quality in there. But it's when that ball gets to the final third, who's going to be the better defender, who's going to be the better in terms of clinicalness in front of goal. That's going to be the difference in the two teams. Lewandowski versus Osimhen, whether it be Christensen and Araujo or Koundé versus the defence, and you got Di Lorenzo in there, as well as some of the Napoli centre-backs as well. So, consistency these two teams have lacked this season. Both teams are coming off disappointing results. The 3-3 draw for Barcelona versus Granada, the 1-0 loss for Napoli versus AC Milan. Both teams will want to bounce back. I know it's next week, so we'll have another game in between that one and the one that's going to come up here, this round of 16 affair. But it's pretty simple for both teams. It's going to be a scrappy old affair. Both teams really want it. But if you can defend better and be more solid at the back, I think you get the better of this game. With the way the two teams are at the moment, their form, the way they're playing, I'm going for a 2-2 score draw. I think it's going to be very interesting, especially Napoli at home will have a bit of the advantage. That will get them to the 2-2 draw. But I think over the two legs, it's going to be just a flip of the coin who can win this one. Both teams have quality. Both teams have talent, but both teams are underperforming at the moment. So that being said, ladies and gents, that brings the prediction video for the round 16 first legs to an end. Let me know what you thought of my predictions in the comments section down below. And if you're new to this channel, please hit subscribe on it. We've got the Away Days podcast, a Monday Premier League show, and the midweek, all of just a football show with all the European leagues, all the big news around the world of football. We've got the Premier League predictions that come out on Thursdays. The Champions League predictions now will be back with the Champions League knockout stages. We've got live watch-alongs to come. I've got midweek episodes of just discussing some big news in football, and there's so much to be had here. It's so excited. We've got some real life football videos coming along the way as well. So please, if you're new to this channel, please join us. Let's get us to 400 subscribers. That's the goal for the next few weeks, and that'll be much appreciated. Also, can you like this video, subscribe, comment, all those good things. It'll help the channel out a lot. Until next time, guys, I hope you enjoy the Champions League action, and I'll see you guys for another video very, very soon. Till then, see you later.